Kolosa Madikizela, welcome, and thank you for joining me.
Good evening, Simphiwe, and to your viewers. It's wonderful to be here with you this evening on Let's Have It Out.
Thank you. I know you're very passionate about transformation. Can you probably give us a little bit of background, why you're so passionate about transformation, and also high-level reflection on I know you're working on your PhD, on your topic, and also what are the key themes that are emerging in your literature review?
Yeah, I'm very passionate about transformation because I think from my experience, having worked for 16 years in white male-dominated industries, spanning the construction sector, the property sector, the engineering sector, I've come to realize that if we do not transform industries, in particular those that I've worked in, and in general, and the communities, we will not be tapping into the full resources that we could be as a South African country and businesses. And I just also believe that women have a role to play. Yep. People living with disabilities have a role to play. Whether your sexual orientation, whatever it is, they have a role to play. And that is why I'm passionate about transformation. And most importantly, I think it's very important for us as women to have a voice in these industries. Yeah. And if you see what is happening in our country at the moment, where women are being abused, women are being kept quiet, women are being dumbed down, there is really an opportunity for us as women to have a voice and to play a very pivotal role in developing this country. And most importantly, because as women as well, we've got something unique that we bring to the table, which is we are nurturers in our nature. Yeah. And we can develop a country as well. And I think we've proven ourselves over and over again. And I believe there's a place for us to play in a broader society. But I also think coming from the state where we came from in the apartheid era, and if we want to we want to right the wrongs of the past, we need to make sure that we are transforming our societies and we are transforming our industries and we are transforming this country. So transformation is something that's very, very close to my heart. That is something I believe is actually my calling. It's something I've come to realize that in every sphere that I've been put into, I've been given an opportunity to transform, whether it is transforming how people view things, our mindsets, or whether it's just transforming from a color point of view or it's transforming from a gender point of view. I genuinely believe that my calling is to transform and make whatever environment I'm in a better place. And that is why I'm passionate about transformation.
Awesome. So would you say, have you mentioned a number of key stakeholders? This include obviously women, include people with disabilities. Would you say we've got an enabling environment for those to actually, be prioritized and accelerated in terms of advancing transformation?
I think in your introduction you were talking about how we have legislation that has been put in place, and we've actually, how far have we come in terms of that legislation? Yeah. So in my personal view, if were it not for the legislation that was put in place, we wouldn't be where we are today. Yeah. You and I probably would not be sitting here together having this conversation. So I think it is important to take account of the fact that the legislation that was put in place has done some good. But is it enough? Yeah. I don't think so. I think we still have a very, very, very long way to go. And the reason why I mention people who are differently abled, that's usually the better way to use it, or people living with disabilities, or people with a different sexual orientation, is I've come to realize that if we limit transformation to just gender and race, we're going to dilute the purpose of transformation, and we're not going to achieve diversity. Because at the end of the day, diversity is the excellence. Yeah. And diversity is the difference maker. And diversity is what will help us put together solutions that will really uplift society. Diversity in thought, diversity in experience, diversity in socialization. That is truly, truly important. So I believe we still have a long way to go. And I believe if we are to add value and improve on what legislation has really helped set the scene for, is we need to really start having the right conversations around transformation. Yeah.
So if you look at, review now the policies that were implemented. You look at Employment Equity Act. We've seen, some of us are products of that through the grad programs, and,
yes.
we moved into different management roles, there's still a view that over 70% of senior execs in the JSE-listed companies are still white. And
male.
Yeah, and male. And also over 60% of your senior managers also are still, white dominated and largely, males. So what could be done to actually, get a little bit of acceleration in terms of, transforming? Because, you find that, for example, most organizations will have a transformation manager. In most cases, the transformation manager doesn't have a budget, so it just coordinates meetings.
Yeah.
So do you believe that are we really prioritizing transformation enough from a corporate perspective and also state-owned entities?
As I said, I think the legislation has laid a very solid and good foundation. The challenge has become that legislation and BBBE certification, in my view, has become a tick box exercise.
Yeah.
Where we are not penetrating and really, really providing tangible solutions that are sustainable. So we speak a lot about graduate programs. A lot of organizations, irrespective of industry or sector that you're in, they have graduate programs. But what we're not seeing is traction of those graduates really becoming the executives in those organizations. And it's got to do with the succession planning that happens. It's got to do with the environments that they find themselves in. And it's also got to do with the fact that we are very far and few.
Yeah.
So we get opportunities elsewhere to grow. So we don't get to see the sustainability within an environment where we come in as graduates and then we grow to be CEOs. We have to bring back fast tracking of individuals in those organizations if we are to see proper transformation.
Yeah.
But I think most importantly as well, there's got to be an element of us as well, as black people as well, because I find that also we have to start speaking out against tokenism. We have to start being strong enough to say, I am not about to be your token.
Yeah.
I am not about to be appointed in this position just to fill a number. I'm not about to be appointed in this position because I'm a black male or I'm a black female. I am here to make a difference.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the most important part that we don't always talk about is and I think Steve Biko spoke a lot about this, is about us understanding our self-importance and our self-actualization, knowing that as black people, we have always been able, we have always been capable.
Okay. Let's continue. We'll continue our conversation after the break. Make sure to use the hashtag LHIO on social media.